Today we're going to take a look at a Shinola Lake Michigan Monster. So the brand itself actually named these watches Monster, unlike this Seiko Monster, which is fan-based named. In case you didn't know that, most Seiko watches that have like names attached to them, the fans came up with that name, not the brand. In this case, Shinola named these entirely, and today we're going to look at this guy here. The Lake Michigan one is the dark blue. There's a few different colorways of this model of watch, a couple of them even being titanium. This one's stainless steel. But we're going to look appropriately at the Lake Michigan one because I am pretty close to the Lake Michigan shoreline, and I actually got a little bit of video because I thought it would be appropriate of this watch near it. I'll put it in this video somewhere. But I have to say big thanks to Miners North. This is a new mention for them. Miners North is a jewelry store that has picked up watches over the years, and they carry Oris and they carry Shinola. And they do pretty dang well with Shinola in northern Michigan because Shinola is a Michigan brand. And a lot of people travel and vacation to the Traverse City area. It is a beautiful area. I'm very fortunate to live and work in the area. And, you know, I stop into Miners North. That's where I got my wedding ring, my wife's wedding ring. I've bought watches there. This is one of the Shinolas I've bought right here from Miners North. And this is on loan. So stepping up the relationship a little bit. So I wanted to show you guys some more of these Shinola watches and maybe some Oris watches as well. But my primary agenda here is to get some of these really cool Shinola watches on the channel to share with you guys. So we're going to start off with this guy here. We'll talk about the measurements. The case is 43 millimeter, the lug to lug, and I'm talking all the way to the very tip of this interesting shaped case is 52 millimeter. So, but don't let that scare you off. It does kind of angle down pretty good. The thickness is 15.6. There's no hiding the fact that it is actually a thick boy here. And it's actually pretty weighty with all the links and everything. It weighs 199 grams. So if you like a little bit larger watch with good presence and good weight, then the Shinola Monster series might work for you. If you like this size watch but don't like the weight, they have at least two variants of titanium. So you have the option to go a little bit lighter weight. You have 22 millimeter lug opening, and this excellent 3-link bracelet tapers down to 18 millimeter. You have a 6.9 millimeter screw down signed crown. That is the lightning bolt, or I guess that's what it is the Shinola logo. And they place it in spots on the watch. You'll see it on the fold over on the clasp there. Speaking of the clasp, pretty milled out here. And you'll notice there's no holes here for micro adjust. That's because it's a sleek little design. There's just an actual button, a little circle button there that you push, and you can get, you know, decent amount of travel there. There's probably a good 8 millimeter travel. The bracelet appears to be a pin and collar system, probably similar to like Christopher Ward uses or something like that. And actually a lot of the design of the case and everything kind of reminds me a little bit of the light catcher case of the Christopher Wards, but definitely with their own spin on it. It's not an identical one. It just has those vibes where it has interesting curves and lines, a nice polished edge there, and then it bellies in on an angle, which is going to aid in its comfort. The case back on a lot of Shinola watches are screwed. No, how do you say it? There's screws holding the case back down. Yeah, that's pretty much their standard method. I don't know if they have a model that where the case back is actually screwed into the case. Rather, it's screwed onto the case. So that's the case here. But with good gaskets and good, you know, case back fitment there, you can still achieve a really good water resistance. This guy here is rated at 30 Atmos, 300 meters, 1,000 feet, whatever you want to call it. So those are good specs. Inside, it has an automatic movement, unlike the quartz chronograph I bought in the background. I do like the Shinola quartz, so I'll get that out of the way, but we'll talk about that in a separate video when I do that one and more. But they have a really good lineup of automatic watches and manual wind watches. But this one's automatic, has a Sellita SW200 in it, 38-hour power reserve, 26 joules, all the standard stuff. There's also a couple of things they added, shock resistance, obviously, that's built into the movement, but also they must have put some sort of cage, like a Faraday cage that is also shock resistant around the movement, because it does have some extra anti-magnetic properties. You have a single dome sapphire crystal up top. You can see that crazy distortion, and there is AR coating on the underside. You can see it like kind of pop in the studio light there. And then you have like really nice gloss dial there, applied markers, a brushed handset, very legible. And then you can see that date window relieved at the 4 o'clock position. I could not find actual detailed information on that bezel insert, but look at the details on it. It is very nicely done, very clean. So I'm not sure if that's ceramic. It almost looks like it's aluminum, but you can see like the material is filled in. So I'm not sure what it is. 120 click, nice bezel action, no play in it, and it lines up good. So no problems there. Let's pop it on my wrist. As I'm doing that, I have to mention the price. They do not give these things away. They are a pretty strong brand. If you travel, definitely if you travel around and into the Southeast Michigan area, you'll often see Shinolas with the wire lug design on people's wrist. They have sold and made a lot of watches, and they do pretty dang good with the automatics, surprisingly. Jeff, one of the owners of Miners North, told me that this right here, the Lake Michigan Monster, is probably their #1 sold watch. And with a price point of $1,650, I actually was kind of blown away that was a fact out of his shop. So because they have models there that are like, you know, $700, like less than half the price. So I thought it was very interesting that this, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. They're primarily a jewelry store, maybe on vacation, maybe you loosen up a little bit, you relax, you're a little less on guard as far as, you know, being overzealous with your research and digging in and trying to find best deals possible. And you get caught up and you're like, you know, let's get some memory stuff here. You know, you might get a memory piece of jewelry for the wife, and you might get a memory watch for yourself. And the Shinola, I think, is a pretty good option if that's what you're doing. I've done it myself with some other watches, and I don't have them anymore. So I think a Shinola, whatever your beliefs are on them, they're actually well-built watches. They're nice stainless steel cases. They have sapphire crystals, some automatic, some manual, some quartz. Great leather straps. Their leather straps are incredible. This bracelet's good. So they're very good quality watches. I think the only thing that really has traction for people complaining on them is the price does seem a little bit elevated. But, you know, or apparently that is just a case of it's more than what you or I may want to pay. But the reality is they sell a ton of them. So there's a ton of people out there that absolutely justify the price. And if you're end user, which I believe most Shinola purchases are done by end users, meaning that they're not serial flippers like a lot of people that are in my community or watch my channel. You buy and sell watches a lot. So, but there are a bunch of watches out there that, believe it or not, people don't sell. They buy them and they keep them and they cherish them, and they don't have 100 watches like you and I. They're not plagued with that insanity. Rather, they just want a really nice watch with a memory tied to it and enjoy it. And this is a really good option under that category. You have great lume application on the bezel, on the dial, on the handset. I'm telling you, some of these designs Shinola's doing, and I'll try to get that square one in, and they have a manual wind, nice option. They have some GMTs. Yeah, they have some incredible pieces, and I'm going to work with Jeff, and I'm going to get them on the show. So if there's a particular Shinola that you want to see, chime in the comments, and I will try to get that one on. But thanks for watching, and I'll put a link down below. You can call up if there's one you're looking for. They have inventory. This is great. They have a lot of Shinola watches. You can call up Minders North, tell them I sent you, ask for Jeff, but anyone in the sales staff will be able to help you. But ask for Jeff, tell him I sent you, and maybe we'll get you set up with what you're looking for. I'll see you on the next vid.